Ladies and gentlemen, excited. Welcome back to SFR for round 9 of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And my name is ILT Indigo, and alongside me, as always, now is Oliver. Welcome, mate. How you doing?
Not so bad, mate. Not so bad. After another exciting race last week, and we're back again in Saudi after a very controversial Bahrain Grand Prix, which you're going to be very kind to tell us the results of the stewards after the very controversial ending to that race. But looking forward to this one in Saudi. It's going to be a really fun one.
I was looking forward to the Stewards more than anything, and I realised that Glock has kept his race win from Bahrain. And now, from a neutral points perspective, it was hard but fair racing, but at the same time, there was moving on the braking. There was not enough space left on both parties, so therefore, a penalty. I thought a penalty would be handed out to one of them, but it turned out to be an NFA, and it was just a warning. So those both drivers were lucky, and Glock was able to get his first win of the season. So MDJ still has a mission on his hands to get his first win of the season because he's leading the championship with no wins to his name. That's consistency for you this season because Hurricane and Glock have both had their own problems this season, different parts of the season as well in the races here at SFR, whereas MDJ has been very consistent after the second race of the season. He's always been up there in the top 5, whereas Hurricane and Glock have always, some have had their problems more than others. But talk about problems, here's Rogue Smithy, who had 2 race bans, and he did a decent result at the Bahrain Grand Prix. It was a very quiet, steady race for him, which he needs on his return to racing to show people that he is still clean, he's still got what it takes, and the Williams team definitely needs to boost it in the championship as well, because in the constructors they are third place, 11 points, 1 point behind Red Bull, and about 22 points behind Mercedes. So Rogue Smithy desperately needs to help in terms of the Constructors' Championship to be up there with MDJ at all times as well to win, because Mercedes are currently winning the championship with Glock in P3 and Martin in P6, and Rogue Smithy is about to start a flying lap around this street circuit. It's the fastest street circuit, and it's the second longest circuit on the calendar too, alongside the Belgian Grand Prix. Here we are under the lights in Jeddah then, one of the fans' favourites for racing. Can be very chaotic as well as we head down into turn 1, breaking the 100-metre board. Nice use of the curb into turn 1. Don't really want to use the second curb, but you want to run out wide as possible in turn 3. Turn 4, it's a blind opening to here until you come towards the fast speed corners from turn 4 all the way down to turn 12. You want to flick it, change your direction, a very smooth steering, down to 6 on this corner, then using the curb on the outside very nicely there. You don't want to get beached on that curve. Corner 2, it's a 32.0 in the first sector, decent first sector considering the track is still green and it's his first lap. Heading into turn 13 then, running out wide, using all the exit he could get away with and trying to get as close to the walls as he can. As we flick it into this corner, it can be a very difficult corner here. It's very easy to tap the walls on the outside, and Rogue Smith negotiates it very nicely. Now, coming towards the second DRS zone, the DRS zones has been changed from 2021 to 2024. I remember the second DRS zone being out of turn 12, but here we are, turn 21, turn 22, full commitment where Lawrence Stroll crashed, Mick Schumacher and Charles Leclerc too. Now coming towards the back straight as we head down towards the difficult final corner. I usually struggle on entry towards this corner, not the exit, as in real life a lot of drivers do wheel spin out of there and get close to the wall. Rogue Smithy, it looks like it's been a tiny lap and he's about to cross the line to go P1 with a 27.2, Oliver.
Yeah, it's very tidy lap for Rogue Smithy, like you said. It's been a very tidy race for Rogue Smithy last week. Very consistent drive from him. As you can see, Zennon that's crossing the line now in the Ferrari. Of course, Oliver Bearman raced for Ferrari this past weekend. Done a fantastic job in his debut race, and as you can see, Zennon with a 27.9 as Ramavaj. The random finishing P2 is now is in second with MDJ with a 26.8. That's an absolute stonking lap there from MDJ there. What will Glock will respond to that when he starts his flying lap now? But that is a very benchmark time there for MDJ, waking everyone else up, and that he is going to be very determined to win this race tonight.
He is indeed as well, trying to get his second win of the season, and also he's 8 points away from the championship. Harry Kane and Glock are tied on the championship in P2, and this track is not too bad on pad. I really like it through these corners. You've got to have a feel for this track. You can't afford to be what's the word? Not scared. I know there's a better synonym for that, but you got to be very confident. You got to flick it in, carrying the speeds through here. No room for error whatsoever. You can't be afraid of this track. And here we are. I was racing here on Sunday as well, and my qualifying was good, but it wasn't good enough because I did a 26.4 as my pole lap. Could have done a 26.2 or 1, but I messed up in turn 21 and turn 22. Turn 21 and turn 22 is one of my weaknesses around this track, surprisingly. Even though I'm on a pad, it's usually set to 1. That should have been my weakness, but this corner here where Glock is entering, for some reason I couldn't get it right. I couldn't flick the car in. Usually get beached on the curb, get pushed out wide by the curb too, and that's what it usually does. This track does bite you back, whether it's curbs, whether it's the walls, and here we are, down into the final corner at turn 27, then into third gear, the back in the car just complaining as he exits the corner. The DRS line is before the penultimate corner, or the final corner. Here comes Glock, it's P2 with a 26.8.
Very, very close there for Glock there, with only 44 thousandths of what, 44 thousandths of a second slower than MDJ. But you can see these two will be very close again tonight. And in the top three, it's MDJ, Glock, and Ramovage. The same top three, but in different orders, which is very interesting to see. Yagamel is on a lap as well, so we'll have a look at him in the Haas. Very steady race there for Yagamel last week as he goes towards the final corner. A little bit wide, they got into the entry. He'll try to use the power of the Haas Ferrari engine to go down the main straight. As he's about to cross the line now, 27.3. Good lap there for Yagamel. Very good lap.
I remember Yagamel being up there and qualified at the later stages in Bahrain, but he fell backwards unfortunately once the last lap times were starting to flurry in. So he's definitely got some pace, Yagamel. He's currently behind Langfell in the championship. Is the Haasman. His best result of the season so far is at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and ever since then he's been scoring points outside the top 10. His best result, I think, it was P7, if I'm not mistaken. Martin, a 32.3 in the first sector. Quite a few P11s this season, Martin. He's usually up there in the top 5 and top 6, but recently he's been out-qualified and unfortunately been pushed outside the top 10 as well. Has the Mercedes driver, he used to be in the Aston Martin last season, now coming through those sequence of corners through turn 16 and turn 17. Another tricky part of the track, but once you get the use of this track, once you start putting a lot of times in and start figuring out how to get used to this track, it's a fantastic track to get used to. It's a fantastic track to drive. You're just changing the steering wheel, a nice one change of direction through the first sector, and throughout the whole lap it's just fantastic to drive if you have the grip and the setup as well, and the confidence. That's all it matters really. Is now Martin exits the final corner as the DRS is enabled around here on the last part on the straight. He comes towards the line. It's going to be P7 for him, and he goes ahead of Sonic Hawk, who makes his return, and he's coming out the pit lane too.
When it comes to confidence around this track, you need to have, like you said before, it's all about commitment, it's all about confidence, it's all about bravery going through these sections of corners, especially for sets of one, like you said numerous times, rightly so, that you need to have all the confidence in the world in the car, you need to have all the confidence in the world in the setup that you bring to the circuit, because every single driver will bring a different setup. Of course they will, because they want to have the confidence for this race circuit. And you've got a Hassan who's a few stops on the final corner. Oh no, no.
Who was that?
Who
was that Smoke?
No, it's not Smoke, it's Yagamel. That was Yagamel. Oh dear.
And Yagamel has run out of fuel, but you should not be parked on the apex. You should be looking at I know he's run out of fuel, but at the same time, you've got to be looking at your track map as well. That's very important for qualifying, because I'd mentioned how traffic can be an issue around here at qualifying, but I did not expect it at the final corner like that. Usually it's in the first sector or so. But at the final corner, that's very bizarre, and I believe that's a slam dunk penalty for Yagamel if Hurricane does report it. It's ruined his qualifying, and unfortunately he's got to change his plans now for qualifying, because he usually goes for a different alternative strategy when it comes to qualifying.
And the Scopo has spun on his final lap. He just needs to be very careful how he spins the car now. He can't be staying there for a long time.
He has to get out there quickly as he can, does at Las Copos. It's a very easy place to spin as well, because if you take too much curb at turn 17, the back of the car will step out as well, and you probably hit the wall too. So it's all about how much curbs you take, because it can really upset the balance of the car. Where Hazara's coming right now, very nice use of the curb as well.
Here we go. Hazara, the man who's been on qualifying, been on pole, been on victory in the same race as well. I'm looking forward to see him top champion, top guy today.
3 wins this season has Hazara. He's got under his belt here in SFR. He's done a fantastic job. He knows what it's like to drive in Jeddah, because he WOR, he finished in P1, and also he raced around here in PSGL in Jeddah too. So he's had a few experience in this race as well. He's also helped me coach this track as well. Coming towards the final corner, a bit wide out of the final corner there for Hazara, but the DRS is enabled, and let's see what lap time he can set in the Ferrari.
Oh, beat that! Bloody hell, fair play.
Unbelievable scenes. Rogue Smithy has gone to P2. What a... Oh, Samid there. Getting very squirrely on the curb, as he uses a lot of curb on the exit of 12 there, but gets away with it, but not the first sector he wants. He's a bit down the first sector already, is the Alpine driver, but Rogue Smithy, what a great lap time to go P2 ahead of his teammate MDJ as well. So we've got more drivers on their laps then. Glock has improved in the first sector by a tenth already, has the Mercedes driver, as he uses 4th gear then to get out of the corner very nicely. I started to like this track now, because when it first came out in 2021 I wasn't really used to it, but he had to get out the steering there, and he hits the wall on the exit but gets away with it too. So he had to change the direction of the steering more than once there to correct the steering there for Glock to make his way through the corner. So it might have cost him a bit of time, but he's a tenth up in the middle sector again. Oh yeah, I hate that corner so much. Turn 16 and turn 17. It's a frustrating corner for pad users. I don't know why. Sometimes you turn it too early, sometimes you turn it too late. I can never get it right or in the middle.
Yeah, it's one of those, and then turn 22, it's one of those corners that you have to be so committed on. Once you to stick, if you want to pick your line, you've got to stick to it. You can't turn it too early because you hit the wall. You can't turn it too late. You got to be right on the curb. It's one of those really that you've just got to find the right perfect time to turn the car to go on the power at the same time. And you do all of that within what, 2 seconds of reactions. It's unbelievably of a fast corner. One of the most committed corners on the calendar, in my opinion. Very, very difficult corner to manage.
It is indeed a Draugren in P7 there, and he goes a few hundreds up in the middle sector, does the AlphaTauri driver. And talk about Draugren as well, he's also started to score some decent results. After Baku, that's when he started to show his pace, and he finished in P4 after starting in P8, and he picked up his first podium in Singapore and finished P4 and back in USA. But at the Bahrain Grand Prix, he broke his wing on the first lap, had to pit twice after not changing it to yes. So unfortunately, he didn't really score many points there. But what about here in Jeddah? He goes into P6, and his tyres are 2-lap old as well, are Draugren. So he went for a push, cool down push, like Harry Kane does. And Harry Kane is still in the pit lane with 4 minutes left to go. This qualifying has flown by. Absolutely flown by as well. We've only got 4 more minutes of it left. And Makit, who hasn't set a lap time just yet in the Alpine, I think he has taken pole. I think it was at the Austrian Grand Prix. I think he did it twice. He did it in the Austrian Grand Prix and the Monza Grand Prix too. So he knows what it's like to start a pole. But what can he do it for the 3rd time this season as he makes his way? You think he tapped the wall there on the entry? Did you see that?
Yeah, he did tap the wall on the inside. Bear Remy jumped up to P3 just a few moments ago, with Makit bailing out in the pits so that he wasn't happy of his time there. But here we go. The final few minutes now. This is where traffic's starting to come into play, because the thing is, when the final few minutes comes through, traffic will start to come in. It's when the drivers really to look at their mini maps at some point to be notified when the traffic will start. So the final couple of minutes will be a little bit hectic.
And nice to see that Adams is also in this race as well. I think he last participated back at the Singapore Grand Prix, scored 12 points as well, and he's done a good job so far here in the Aston Martin. I think he qualified inside the top 10 as he was a Williams driver replacing Rogue Smithy, as Hazara replaced Rogue Smithy in the last race before that, Baku. So yeah, Adams has raced before here at SFR. He's raced quite a few times actually. Back at the Belgian Grand Prix, he raced it 4 times in a row. Then he took a little bit of of a break between Baku and Singapore and USA. But he's in the pit lane now, and every single driver then is almost in the pit lane. We're just waiting for the main competition to come out. And Atlas, I believe, is going for a flying lap. He's exited turn 12 now. He's currently in last place. There's 4 drivers, including Laser, who hasn't set a lap time yet. We all know Laser likes to go very late. So does Harry Kane. But the problem is Harry Kane likes to do 3 or 4 laps on a set of tyres. But he couldn't quite do it this time because he broke his wing trying to get past Yagamal, who parked at a blind corner there. And Atlas, how does he negotiate these corners? 16 and 17, very nice there. Doesn't really use the curb on the inside. You don't really have to, but it does give a bit more rotation and straightens the car and points the car in the right direction, if that makes sense. And now coming towards 21 and turn 22, misses the apex slightly, but connects really well and gets a very decent exit indeed. Does the AlphaTauri driver, so we didn't really get as close to the wall as anticipated, but they still got a good exit nevertheless. And now coming towards turn 27, how close to the wall does he get here? And yeah, gets a decent exit there, does Atlas. So let's see where his first previous lap time puts him, depending if he validates or not in his last runs. He goes into P12, does Atlas, and him and who was it I was about to mention? Him and Lord Danny Boy have always been close together during racing, but I don't think Danny Boy's here tonight, unfortunately, so he'll be backing off for Saudi Arabia. But our main competitors are starting to come out of the pit lane then, and this is going to be an interesting fight for pole position.
Well, Martin's going to be the first one to set a lap first, and the Mercedes. Oh, Hazard, 5-piece grip penalty for illegal blocking. Oh dear.
And that is a
Where
Williams.
Where did that come from?
It's a Williams. Behind him, that is MDJ, who's given Hazara a 5-place grid penalty by staying behind him way too long. So that could have a massive impact in the race. I want to talk about the race later after qualifying as well. Here comes Martin then, about to start his final flying lap, heading down into the blind at turn 4. A bit of hesitation there on the entry for Martin. Now he can get the power, really carry the speed through these corners then. A fast right-hander, some people take it flat out, some people lift off. He hits the wall on the entry in turn 11, turn 12, and rides the curve too. So a bit of a scruffy first sector, and he's backed off as well because his EOS is turned off.
It's a bit of a scruffy one on that one. Glock has started his flying lap now in the other Merc, so that'll be interesting. But look at all these cars going about to approach the final turn. This is unbelievable. This is a traffic jam going into the final turn. So, oh my word, look at all this. You've got McLarens, you've got Alpines, you've got an AlphaTauri in there. Oh my word, there's a lot of traffic going through this final sector.
That's MDJ starting a lap right behind Hazara, so we'll get a decent tow, but at the same time we'll be too close enough to get in the dirty air, get in the dirty wake and start to lose downforce in the fastest speed corners. Glock, however, has gone purple in the first sector, so as we make our way down into 16 and 17, nice entry there, really committed. And that's a much better line than he took previously, because a bit of hesitation went on in turn 16 and turn 17, but this time connected really well. He's currently in P5. The gap to P2 is about 1/10, 3/10 up in the middle sector. More hesitation there, change of direction more than twice there for Glock. I'd say change of steering actually, as Laser has gone up to P4. His one and only lap time is good for P4. Berimi goes into P3 on 3 lap holes, soft compound tyres, incredible from the Red Bull. And now Glock comes towards the final corner. Let's see what the Mercedes driver could do. Is he close to pole, or would he slot in on the front row alongside Hazara? Here he comes, across the line now. It's P2 for Glock, 26.4.
I'll tell you what, Rogue Smithy is flying in the other Williams. You might keep an eye on him going for this final turn.
And what's the Alfa Romeo doing in front of him? Did he get caught in the Alfa Romeo? Let's have a look then. It's makes his way towards the line. It's going to be P2.
Oh, he'll get pole. And there's not Rogue Smithy. Will get pole. Berimi, there's a snatch away for Rogue Smithy.
Here comes Hazara towards the line when he extends his margin. Yes, he will. And here comes MDJ, goes into P4 as well. Berimi pushed down into P5. And where's Harry Kane, crucially? He's down in P20. He makes his way now towards the line. DRS enabled for him. What's this lap time going to be for him? It's pole at 26.1.
Oh, what a lap. What a lap from the Red Bull driver.
That is a very interesting qualifying. Harry Kane towards the end has managed to pull it out of the bag at the very last second, despite getting blocked on his lap, losing his wing, thankfully not picking up a 5-place grid penalty for contact either. But Rogue Smithy is my outlier in qualifying. P3 for the Williams, out-qualifies his teammate by 0.2, and now This is where Rogue Smithy has to convert it into a decent result in the race too. What a qualifying session we've got here, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. Stay tuned around here for the Jeddah Grand Prix. It's going to be an absolutely fascinating one. And Harry Kane, what a lap time indeed. And that is, oh, Hazara again? Oh, he's got another 5-place grid penalty.
I think Hazard's got a glitch now. I think.
He's in a Williams sandwich. He's AI picked himself a penalty. Don't know what's wrong with this game. I really don't.
I don't know either, but what to qualify. Big shout out to Rogue Smithy. After a 2-race ban, he's just transformed. Absolutely transformed. Unbelievable qualifying. And fair play to Rogue Smithy for getting that position on the grid. He'd be very, very best pleased.
Oh, he will indeed, and I'm looking forward to see what he could do here tonight. And Hazara's got a 10-place grid penalty, but I think there might be a lobby restart.
Hang on. Apparently, Martin's commented on the chat saying that we could restart qualifying, so we bear with us. This could be preliminary, but yeah, carry on.
What, did you say restart qualifying?
Yes, Martin has just put on the chat saying, can we restart quali 2, please? I don't know if that's a joke or it's anything, but yeah, they're all talking through the chat right now, but this is only preliminary, so...
Usually, if you have a 5-place grid penalty, I don't know if this applies in this league because it's been a long time since someone's picked up a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking, but in like PSGL, WR, and other leagues I've commentated or raced in, if there's a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking, it's a lobby restart. Or if there's a 5-place grid penalty for contact, it stays because you made contact with the driver qualifying, which you're not supposed to do anyway. So we'll see what the decision is, and if it isn't a lobby restart, Hazara has got a lot of work to do for P12.
And it's just, but they're all 2 one-shot qualies at the moment. Yeah, so I think they're pretty much. I think it's most likely to be a one-shot quali. So, wow, that's a massive change to the books. I'll tell you that for a fact. But Berimi's left the session. This could be a one-shot quali restart. This could be a one-shot quali.
I don't think it should be a one-shot qualify. I think we should take the grid as it is, or was, then put Hazara back to P2. That's always the case it should be.
Right, it's been confirmed. It's going to be a restart. So, I think it's going to be a one-shot quali. Yep, it looks like it's going to be a one-shot quali. I think it is.
Now it's time to leave the session and get another invite. But what makes you say it's going to be a one-shot qualifier? I only see one person put it.
Yeah, it's one. But I think we're just waiting for confirmation. Restart course casting grid as I had a glitch. Right, we're just gonna wait and see what goes on in the chat. But while we wait for that, have you got any past results actually in this SFR's past? Because I believe you got some documents that you have to show some previous results over the years. I think you do. So just trying to kill some time really. But yeah, do you have any past documents?
Yes, I do actually. And I don't think I was commentated at the time. It was Shadow Lancer who was commentated here in Jeddah last season. And it was Kuipers who won the Grand Prix as well in the Haas. And these are some names I haven't seen before either. Well, I've seen, but not obviously heard of. It was a long time ago, back with the Saudi Grand Prix in season 14, as now in season 15. But there was only 20 drivers. Half the grid retired. I don't remember commentating this Grand Prix for some reason, unless I wasn't there, of course. But Andreas won the Grand Prix, and it was Forrest who finished in P2, Gamer finished in P3, Kuipers 4th, Laser 5th, Rogue Smithy in 6th, and 11 drivers finished, and guess who was last? Are the 11 drivers.
Go on.
You.
No way, was I in that race? That's quite funny. I never knew that. My word, was this Division 1 at the time?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow. My word.
Could we see more retirements in this Grand Prix? Because this Grand Prix is known for safety cars. A lot of chaos could happen too. Oh, I almost pressed stop broadcasting. Then don't want to do that. I want to join the session.
Um, let's talk. Did you watch Division Two's race last night? By the way.
What was I doing last? No, because I was with some friends playing something else. I was gonna because I saw
Uh,
it on my I'm subscribed to SFR, so I saw it on my suggested.
so a good decent race last night actually from Division Two the other night, and an unbelievable race. Let's just say I got a P6. So both me and Mansell, both of the Haas guys, got P6 in the third, no P6 in the fourth. Dan actually had a standing race, finished fifth with his teammate finishing first. Then we had Keith's, I think he finished second, and Calvin finished third. So, and it was first few laps of the race. My word, what a race! Unbelievable first few laps. It was actually quite clean at the start, which is quite interesting to see actually. Um, but yeah, well done Division Two last night for keeping it clean, and we'll be moving on to Mexico after we're done with Saudi Arabia, which will be don't get too far ahead. But yeah, really good race last night for Division Two. Really happy.
I've had to stay in Saudi Arabia for 3 times now this week. I raced twice in Saudi and I'm commentating here. So I know what it's like to be inside. I know what it's like to commentate a race in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah. So I've got a lot of knowledge and information to bring to you in this race. I was involved in a race on Sunday around here at the streets of Jeddah, and the very important thing is to stay in DRS. There's 3 DRS zones around here. You don't want to squabble too early in the early stages. You've got to stay in that DRS train. And if you don't, it's going to be a long ride from there without any DRS because you won't be able to catch up with that 3 DRS zones. Jamie, it was me and Shadow last season doing comms. But if I remember correctly, was I the Monaco? I first started commentating with you, Daniel, at the Monaco Grand Prix. You barely beat me and I used all assists. You should be embarrassed by that performance. I think he's talking to you, Oliver. Electro Dan.
It's, I think it's Energy Dan. Yeah, I think it's Daniel. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'll go look at the screen
Ask
now.
Oliver. Ask Oliver how he lost 2 positions
Yeah, it was
last night.
Dan. All right, so right here we go. So it was me and Shadow last night season doing to ask him how we lost. I knew he was not gonna give up. So basically, me and him were having an absolute almighty battle throughout the entire race, and well, let's just say, it was quite a little scrappy little end for me. I sort of dinked the front wing a tiny bit. Um, I went a little bit too wild on the exit of the final corner. I sort of smacked the right hand side of the front wing just a bit, and then I made a couple of little errors about making fighting with Dan in the Mercedes of places, especially for sector one, and yeah, basically it all fell apart from there. So I let my teammate through, and then by the end of it, so he can catch up to Dan, and let's just say I basically lost 2 positions in that race. So I'm not too fast. It's a top 6 finish, but well done to Dan last night with his drive. He drove so maturely, which around Saudi Arabia need to be. So my props to Dan. Good race from him and a good fight as well. We fought all race from lap one to the end. Unbelievable race. I couldn't ask for much more from him. And well done to my teammates for getting P4. So on to Mexico. That's all I can say. On to Mexico, which will be a fun track for overtaking. Um, Thanks, Dan. I appreciate the appreciation. Look, if you are racing next week, look forward to seeing you out on track again, buddy. But yeah, we're in Division One tonight. I believe it's going to be custom grids. So I think from the quality results that we had, um, the quality result that we had in qualifying with Azara in P2, I believe. So Rogue Smithy will start on the second row with MDJ finishing. I think he starts fifth. I think he starts fifth. So Williams could get on for a very good result
Why not see how much you
for
can learn? Why not see how much you can learn?
So yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting race tonight. I think Williams looking very strong as always. But the Red Bull of Harry Kane, unbelievable qualifying to get onto pole. I can't wait to see how he does in the race. Um, but again, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to see how Rogue Smithy does in the front now. Because last time we saw Rogue Smith in the front was in Monza.
Yeah, it was, and sorry about being quiet there for a little bit. So basically, I'm in a difficult situation. I've got to join this conference call for the work that I do, but I can still commentate at the same time. So basically, I've got an earphone in on this conference call. I don't have to talk. I've got to listen in for all the important meetings, etc. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've got an earphone in on my right ear. I can still hear you. I can still hear the game audio and the cars, but at the same time, I've got to be in this call and pretend I'm doing something in this call, so I can still hear you perfectly. My mic on the phone
I'll
is mute.
probably try to. I'll take lead if it needs must.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're about to get underway now for Saudi Arabia. So this is going to look into the fun begin, we should say, for Saudi Arabia, the fastest street circuit anywhere in the world, the fastest. Well, the corners, the most corners on the circuit are anywhere in the world. Second longest track in the world behind Belgium, like Jamie has referenced. So this is going to turn into a very interesting race. What tires of the cars will go on? They can do a one stop. Soft to medium can be a preliminary. It can happen. Medium to hard, that can happen. Medium to soft, that can happen. Tire degradation is not that much a big thing. They can either go aggressive or they can go conservative. Dan did do do a medium to soft last night, so which is very interesting to see how that plans out with Division One. How they took that into account, because that can work. That can work. So we'll just wait for the drivers to load in. Can't wait to see how this happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. 25 laps of action, and I was checking to see my mic was on mute on the phone call too, because I don't want to be commentating and them hearing my commentating as well. So I had to check. I can't turn my face camera off for some reason. That stayed on, so I put a book over my phone so they can't see my face when I'm commentating or see what I'm doing or something else. So
Oh, brilliant!
I don't know how to turn the camera off. It just won't turn off.
I love that. Anything works is a book. Oh, Dan did a soft medium. Oh yeah, of course he did. Oh my, there you go. There's my memory for you. But yeah, I love that. If anything else fails, use a book. Top tips from Jamie.
Yeah, I just used a book to cover the camera on my phone. Make sure my mic was on mute on that video call because I don't want to interrupt a very important business call.
Oh, and it just. I hope it's a very sensible book.
It is. It's the official highway code book for driving.
Oh, oh, brilliant! They say you learn the highway code while you do your commentary. How to indicate at the right moment at a junction. How to change lanes. How to change lanes in a safe manner on a motorway.
No idea. Well, I do, but I don't know.
You do, you don't. Everyone, if you do see Jamie on the motorway, just be aware that he doesn't know how to indicate safely on a motorway. He's a very dangerous man. Only kidding. We'll just wait for the drivers to get ready. We're in Saudi until we get to the formation lap. Very interested to see how this will work out then. It's going to be I think it's going to be an aggressive strategy for the Division 1 drivers tonight. We'll wait to see what happens on the formation lap. I hope no one's going to do a Lance Stroll and plough it into the wall at turn 22.
That's known as the long stroll corner now. Bullshit for him.
Dad says he might. Jamie drives a BMW apparently.
What's
Yeah,
quite funny
probably.
is I can hear a voice in my ear and hearing you at the same time.
Echoes in your head. So yeah, turn 22 will be known as the Lance Stroll corner, clipping the wall on the inside. And well, the team asks him he's okay. Well, like, yes, I'm okay. Then the team asks, can you bring the car back? Well, the suspension's broke. It's gone into the wall, and he can't drive backwards. So brilliant. Ah, here we go. Formation lap.
So we'll have a look at the tyre strategies. It should be hard, medium or medium hard, and two drivers, which is
Oh,
Smoke and Jagermal, have got the medium compound tyres. I know Smoke likes to start on the medium compound
Adams as
tyres.
well.
Has he?
Yeah, Adams as well in the Aston Martin. He's on the mediums as well.
My eyesight must be bad. I'm wearing my glasses. I still couldn't see that. But yeah, Adams is on the medium compound tyres as well. So three drivers on the mediums and the rest are on the hard compound tyres. I know it's funny because I've never really spoken before with two voices in my head, you and this conference call, whatever it is. This Zoom call I'm in.
I hate Zoom calls. They bore you to death with so much information that you already knew.
Right, so Hazara is in P2. Every time he's participated here in SFR, he's gone on to win the Grand Prix. But he has Harry Kane in front of him, who's going for his second win of the season. Can he do it, Harry Kane, as well? Because he's currently P2 in the championship. His rival is right behind him of Glock and MDJ, who's currently in P6. MDJ's consistency is what's helped him be the top of the championship standings, but Harry Kane is starting to close in, and so is Glock. Glock and Harry Kane on the same points as well. They're both in P1 and P4. If Hazara chooses to be a full-time driver, he could find himself involved also in this championship, but might be a bit too much for Hazara down there. He's only on 86 points, whereas MDJ's on 178, so might have been much of a stretch there for Hazara to be involved in the championship. Ramafaj, great qualifying for him in P5. He won the Hungarian Grand Prix, of course, after starting the pole position and had to defend from the likes of Laser and MDJ too. He's also on scoring some good points as well. Where is he in the championship? I just saw his name, now it's gone for some reason. He's currently 11th in the championship. He's had 3 podiums this season, has Ramavaj, but he's not always turned up to races. That's why he's currently in P11. And he's currently in P5, so let's see if he can try and get himself inside the top 10. And where is Martin? Martin, probably his worst qualifying of the season now in P15, and JDM had a great qualifying back in Bahrain, but unfortunately had a spin down a turn 8 in Bahrain and put him down in order. So all the drivers start to line up on the grid, and the fun, the excitement here in Jeddah should start very soon.
It's interesting to see what will Rogue Smithy do in P3, one of his best qualifiers of the season. When I say one of his best, I don't know what his actual best is. I think it was a P2 in Monza. As all the drivers line up now for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Let the fun commence. What is turn 1 and 2 going to be like at the very first turn on the very first lap? Here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's have it.
All the drivers are lined up on the grid. We are just waiting the lights. There they are to stick to the drivers, and let's see what happens going down into turn 1. And we are away for round 8 of the Jeddah Grand Prix, as looks like Harry Kane's got a decent start, but Zara's got the inside line going down into turn 1. I can see Roguesmith and Glock on fighting there, but here we are, the Ferrari versus the Red Bull. Can Harry Kane stay ahead of Hazara? They continue going side by side at turn 3. Hazara takes the lead of the Grand Prix immediately away for Harry Kane as Roguesmith defends from Glock, and let's see how they make it out in turn 4. Adams made up 2 positions. He's gone from P12 to P10 then, and looks like we've got a clean start. A few more squabbles there in the midfield with the AlphaTauri Dragon versus Samid, but Dragon stays ahead of the time being, ahead of Samid, but it looks like it's a clean lap 1 so far, as all the drivers then out of the first sector unscathed, thankfully.
Yeah, very clean start for the drivers. Glock and Rooksby had a slight bit of contact in the first 2 corners, but it was only minor contact, so I would say that should be okay. But Hazard with a great start, Mike. But reminds the mindset of Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez on the very first at the start, with the Ferrari got the inside line going into turn 3. So, which is a good thing to have. Look at Rogue Zippy's pace it all over the back of Harry Kane. He is so determined tonight. And I'll tell you now, with MDJ right behind Glock, the two winners drivers will be determined to be in this fight for the Constructors' Championship. And we've got two cars fighting, and that's MDJ and Glock fighting. Remember these two last week?
Yeah, remember these two had contact at a turn 8, and you can see the Haas of Yagamo overtaking Bear, but here comes Harry Kane taking the lead back. He's not allowing Hazard to pull away as he don't want to break the DRS, but as we go down to turn 1, there's two Williams going down there to turn 1 with Glock around the outside. Now as the inside line, it's turn 2. He's got ahead of Rogue Smithy. MDJ capitalises after Rogue Smithy going out wide in turn 2, allows his teammate to go into P4, and unfortunately for Rogue Smithy, he has lost 2 places, but still, he's in this DRS train. He's still there. He can still make something about it. It's early stages in this Grand Prix. He can't afford to lose his head. And now Glock, we're thinking about Hazard in front of him. The gap is 3 or 4 tenths, and now with DRS being enabled in the next lap, all these drivers then should stay within the DRS and not break it. But I can see someone in the background fighting out of turn 12. Who was that? That's the Mercedes going side by side there. That's Martin versus Mackie as we head into turn 13. Oh, a bit of close there as they made contact there going into turn 13, but thankfully made it out with no further damage, and Mackie stays ahead. Unusual places for those two, but MDJ is right behind Glock then, really pushed him through the corners and showing no mercy whatsoever towards Mercedes drivers, and probably has revenge on his mind after Bahrain. He thought he won the Grand Prix, but here he is then, use the battery. You can see it's green, and Glock is also doing the same thing in defense mode. And let's have a look going down into turn 27. Then MDJ will look for the inside line. Will he go for the move into turn 27 to the final corner? Yes, he will, but he can't do it. MDJ stays in P4. The Alfa Romeo Ramavage get a bit wobbly out of turn 27, but Glock stays ahead for the time being. DRS is enabled for these drivers, and it should get more interesting as 3 DRS zones will definitely bring him into contention. But hard racing already in the first 2 laps of this Grand Prix. It should start to settle down a bit with all these drivers following the DRS, but you never know what could happen, as MDJ will be desperate to overtake that Mercedes of Glock. I've raced with MDJ. Every time something happens to him, something bad happens, he wants it. He's desperate as well. He will show no mercy whatsoever. He will come back at you 1,000 times harder than MDJ. And yeah, that's what happens when I've been in a championship fight with him a few years ago. He's a fighter. He never gives up. He will go for it no matter what. Smoke is ahead of Langfell. He puts himself up into P12. But there is a bit of a DRS train split now from P12 downwards. It was Draugen who was the second outside the DRS range on lap 1. But in these last 2 laps, he's managed to bring the gap down to 8 tenths and put himself in the DRS contention, because that's very crucial for this race. You can see the Alpine of Samid hits the wall out of turn 16 and in turn 17 there, but gets away with it. No damage on the Alpine so far. But yes, it's one big DRS train then. It's going to be very tactical racing, and see who trades places and see who goes where down the field, because you can lose about 2 or 3 places down the straight. It's the same as Las Vegas, that 1.2 mile straight down towards turn 14, 15 and 16. It's the same as that really, with the power of the DRS. But as we round the final corner for lap 3 then, we go on to lap 4. Hazara is right behind Harry Kane, then Harry Kane going for his second win, or going for his third one actually of the season, whereas MDJ still going for his first win.
So right now the race has calmed down now. It's going for what? Harry Kane all the way down to Draugen, like you said, in P10, where this train is. So this is where, like you mentioned before, it's all about earth management. It's all about picking your spots when you want to make the overtake. Because you've got to think about it. After turn 22 and 21, or 21 and 22, you get they get that DRS streak going into the hairpin of turn 23. But then you've got to think about after turn 23, you get the DRS zone at the main straight. And that's when the driver behind will make another attack. So really, it's all about a game of chess and when you want to pick your spots when you want to make that overtake. Ramavage is getting Rogue Smithy a heck of a time trying to get past that Williams, with Glock still managing to stick ahead of MDJ. But this is all about picking your spot, all about managing that ERS, all about managing the best strategy possible to win this Grand Prix.
Yes, indeed. And MDJ is right behind Glock then, so he's put him under immense pressure. MDJ turns on the DRS, same as Glock. They go wheel to wheel. Ramafaj is putting Rogue Smithy under pressure, and now we go towards the final corner. He goes side by side. MDJ trying to go around the outside of Glock. Can he do it? He gets squeezed against the wall, but this time the respect is there. They are racing cleanly, thankfully. Here comes Hazara on Hurricane for the race lead there, and he takes P1 away again. And Glock and MDJ is still fighting all the way down into turn 1. And Glock has laid the brakes there, and he squeezes MDJ going into turn 2. And he stays ahead. This is very aggressive indeed. Very aggressive, very fair. And he stays in P3 then, using all of his skill and bravery. But he is running low on the ERS. I can see it on his steering wheel, as MDJ is also as well. So if someone's retired, that's Sammy's out of the Grand Prix.
Oh, so just be prepared for a safety car. This could be a possible safety car. But like I said before, these two drivers are not giving any mercy after Bahrain. This is pretty much Bahrain Part 2 between MDJ and Glock. No safety car as of yet, so we're going to carry on racing. Harry Kane's going to stick behind Zara, that's fine. He's going to stick with him, and he's going to say that ERS, wait for that next attack. Meanwhile, Glock and MDJ, Smithy and Ramavage are all fighting for the final opponent's place. But you've got to remember, the more they fight, the more they lose time. So it's all about picking that spot, picking that perfect time to make that overtake, so then you can gain time. On the front line, Glock had a wobbly exit. This is a chance now for the Williams to make an attack.
Glock is under big pressure, under attack for both Williams, and a bad exit at turn 16. There's also had a difficult exit at turn 21 and turn 22. But MDJ is now up into P3. Down the inside goes Rogue Smithy. And as you see, the lays the brakes, managed to keep all control. He's side by side now with Glock. He might lose 2 positions here from both Williams, and the DRS has been broken. Harry Kane and Hazara still going at it. Here comes Rogue Smithy on his teammate. He might attack him going down into turn 1 and turn 2. But Glock makes contact with Rogue Smithy. Forced him out wide, squeezed him into turn 2. And also Ramafaj is under pressure from Yagamal and Berimi. They're all fighting away. Rogue Smithy and Glock still fighting going down into turn 4. He's trying to hold it around the outside to have the inside line, but Glock stays around the outside. They're losing so much time. Here comes Ramafaj. And he gets contact!
No! Oh no!
That's what happens when you are impatient, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it's gone into contact as well. Glock and Rogue Smithy are not willing to yield. You've got to be tactical. You've got to stay in the DRS train at all times. You can't afford to fight, especially on lap 6 out of 25. You've broke the DRS train now, unfortunately, and it's going to be very difficult to get back in the DRS. And yeah, all that hard work, unfortunately, has gone away after making contact. 2 important drivers are out of the equation now, and MDJ can start to breathe a bit because he hasn't got Glock right behind him. So that all happened down at turn 1, and you want to be careful into turn 4, you know. Rogue Smith is still behind Langfell, having the DRS on him. You've got to be careful going down to turn 4. You can't go wheel to wheel down that corner. You've got to yield out. It's only a corner for one driver only. You've got to stay in single file until the DRS. Draugen is ahead of Lays. We've got a multi-car battle going down at turn 27 here with Draugen. Lays has dropped down into P8 now. Berim is putting pressure, and Hazara has got overtaken by Harry Kane, or the other way around. Yagamal is up into P4. Great start from Yagamal in the Haas, and here comes the Red Bull of Berimi on Glock. So Glock is starting to struggle at race pace. He probably burned too much ERS fighting with MDJ, and now you can see him get squeezed against the wall there. As we go down into turn 4, then Glock is stayed ahead. You can see the car is derating, indicating he's losing power on the straight. Is that Mercedes? And he's well out of the equation now.
Oh, unbelievable. So Rogue Smithy is in the pits now, going to the medium compound tyres. So is Ramavage. He'll be going on to the medium compound as well. So unlucky. That things happen. MDJ is now in the fight for P1. He's now caught up to the leaders. Now he can save some ERS a bit. He can now save some ERS to take on the top 2. The Star and Harry Kane will be fighting with like cats and dogs, and MDJ will be ready and waiting, lying in wait to pick up the scraps. This P1 fight will get something very tasty. And also for Rogue Sniffy and Ramavage, you got to think the safety car is not too long away. If that happens, they're back in the game. So it's all to play for. We're still very early stages in this Grand Prix with Harry Kane and Bante Lazara again for P1.
Yeah, these two are in a really great position to just continuously swap DRS, but now MDJ is involved in this battle as well. He hasn't got a Glock in his tail. Here comes Harry Kane then, and he'll swap DRS with Hazara. These two will go at it all race long. And here we are, Harry Kane up the inside, or overtakes him before turn number 1. And Jagerbal is 2.6 seconds back. I want to mention the Haasman as well. He went out wide in turn 16. He cut the track fully at 16 there, so he couldn't make the apex and had to go out wide. And he might have picked himself up a track limit violation too. Martin is up into P12 ahead of Sonic Hawk, who makes a return here. Down the inside goes JDM, and there was a great move as well. He almost went off the track in turn 2. He overtakes Xenom. Xenom, difficult race again, but actually got a legal overtake, and that's to let the Ferrari and Alp. He's actually slowing down. Don't know why. What's happened to him?
Oh wow, that's weird to me. I think that we must have done something for that to happen. That's very weird to see. But look at this. Look at Draugen taking on Glock now. This is unusual to see. You don't usually see Draugen taking on Glock. It's usually Glock taking on the others. Here comes Draugen now out trying to take on Glock's Mercedes.
And Glock again hits the exit of turn 17. He did that when he was fighting with MDJ Rogue Smithy. And here comes Draugen with the power of the DRS. Glock is starting to struggle here in Jeddah. Unsurprisingly, it can be a difficult track with race pace. His tyres might be starting to overheat. Doesn't have the grip at all on the Mercedes there. Probably not got the grip he needs, not got the tire temperatures either, probably overheated. But actually, Berimi lets Draugen go. Draugen again is absolutely flying. He puts that AlphaTauri up into P5 ahead of Berimi. Berimi probably wants a DRS off the back of that AlphaTauri there, use him as a DRS chicken.
Now.
And this should be interesting going down as turn 1 then. MDJ doesn't want to be third in this DRS train. Hazara goes up into turn 1 in first place and actually tries to overtake Harry Kane too. Does MDJ switching lines, trying to do the under and over, trying to get a better exit. He actually hits the wall going out of turn 3 there, so couldn't pick up the traction as quickly as he would have wanted, but thankfully hasn't broken his wing, it doesn't seem, as MDJ tried to capitalise on that one, but wisely backed out going into turn 4. Yeah, that's what's going to happen in racing. What's happened to Hazara? He's gone out wide in turn 12 and 13. He was grinding that curb, but thankfully not in the wall there, because usually when you grind on the curb you get stuck on that curb and you usually go into the wall as well. Rogue Smithy sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well on the new medium compound tyres, but there's the driver positions. The massive loss is Ramavaj and Rogue Smithy, and Ramavaj sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. Desperate for a safety car, those two, to try and rejuvenate their race. 15, 14 places lost for both of them, and Atlas has lost 1 place as well. The highest gainer is Jagemal from 6 places. Here comes Harry Kane, but backs out of it. He wants the DRS, but he also knows that MDJ is not willing to back off either, because he wants to get ahead of these two to try and put himself second in that DRS train and use one of them for DRS later on in the race as well to try and overtake.
Interesting thing that is, but I was about to say that because Harry Kane and Hazara breaks earlier to try and get another sort of DRS on Harry Kane. Here comes the top 3 now, down the main straight now, B2, I'll be going hammer and toss, and now MDJ in the mix. It's all going to get very interesting. Hazara goes down the inside, MDJ goes down the inside as well. Harry Kane will lose 2 positions, and that is a position gained for MDJ and Hazara. 2 positions lost for Harry Kane, who's now dropped down to P3. So Hazara's not running away with it this time. He's got to fight for his race win, and that's what we would all like to see.
It's going to be an incredible battle from here on in, and it also depends which one of these guys will be first in the DRS train, because if you're first on the last lap, nobody wants to go first on the last lap unless you have the full battery, of course. But if you're first in that DRS train on the last lap, you're going to have big problems with doing DRS zones, and the guys are draining their battery. Jagerbal's done a great job on those medium compound tyres so far. Let's go back to the tyre telemetry, and he's on the medium compound tyres, but he's in the DRS train himself. He can't pull away from these guys behind. He's got to stick with them and just try and do the best race he can before he goes on to the hard compound tyres. Draugen and Berimi, quiet race from those two in P5 and P6. These two have always been the ones to watch in terms of getting the podiums, depending if anything happens to the top guys there. But Draugen's picked up a podium or 2, and so is Berimi. I think he's picked up 1 podium this season, or 2. I think 1 was at the Baku Grand Prix. Maybe the other one was at the Austria Grand Prix too. And here comes Draugen on Jagemal. He puts himself up into P4, and Berimi then looking to size up.
MDJ had a massive wobbly exit, but he's actually made the different exit to go into P1. There goes MDJ into the lead. But here comes Harry Kane. Harry Kane's going to stay behind MDJ, new race leader of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
What's going to happen is, between the top 3, if one of them tries to go for another cut on each other, that might break up the DRS and therefore pull a 1 second gap, because usually the second stint we see undercuts, we see pit stops obviously, then we'll see the DRS break up, and once that DRS starts breaking up between these guys, we'll see who has the raw pace to try and keep each other a second ahead of each other too. That's what happens in the second stint. You've got to have the raw pace to break out the DRS and be home free from there. In the first stint, it's all following each other, but once the pit stops start happening, that's when the DRS starts breaking up. That's when, oh, we got a yellow flag down there. Who is that, I wonder? Let's have a look. Was it Martin? I'm not quite sure. Nobody lost the position, but it might be in a quick spin or quick off the track trip. But thankfully, nobody has hit the wall or retired, I think.
No, I think someone has just run wide and probably just to back off just a slight bit to not get a time penalty. But yeah, it's very interesting now who blinks first in the pit stops, because these tyres will go to around 15 to 17 laps on the hard compound tyre. So this is going to turn very interesting in the next few laps time when that's going to happen. As Bear Remy overtakes Draugen, he goes up into P4. What about the top? What about the top three? What's Harry Kane going to do with MDJ?
Who knows which one of them's going for another cut first? That's the main important question. Whoever goes for the other cut first, and here comes Draugen on Bear Remy again, those two will continue to swap places, and Jagemal has rejoined in 15th place. They're able to take those hard towards the end, no problem whatsoever. Atlas versus JDM going down into turn 27 there. Langfeld on the back of Martin, here he is, up into P10, they're having their own scraps. Here's Langfeld and Martin, and Mackett versus Sonic Hawk going down into 1 and 2. And yeah, not a usual place to see Mackett, but it might be a track issue where he might not be his strongest track, and therefore that's why he's further down the field. We know he's got good pace, but it's all track dependent as well. Maybe this track is not one of the best tracks he's driven on. It's a good track for me, but at the same time in race pace I do tend to struggle around here in terms of race pace. All it is, you've got to stay in the DRS train, because once you break out of it, it's just so difficult to maintain the temperatures and not going out wide, out braking yourself, missing the apex too. Whereas in the DRS, you can lift the coast slightly and brake earlier too to just save the battery and save the tyres as well and not overheat them. But Hazard looks like he's struggling just a bit. I can see him using a lot of steering input, more than he usually does in corners. He started to break away from Harry Kane a bit. He has saved up a lot of ERS, as you can see on the steering wheel. That's about 82% it says on the steering wheel, as Harry Kane gets closer once again, while his teammate Bear Remy fights with P4 and P5 against Drago with Laser there in P6. Want to mention a start for Laser too, while we'll see Harry Kane and MDJ once again swapping places. A good start, well not a good start, but here comes Bear Remy and Dragon. You can't really say anything, but that battle's happening, and Glock is in the pit lane then to end his hard compound tyre stint. And it's a shame what happened to Glock there, but unfortunately he broke himself out of the DRS train by fighting a bit too hard against the Williams. Maybe he should have let the Williams go and just put himself in a rhythm, set up behind him with the help of DRS, save up the battery too, because if you run out of battery around here, oof, you're in for a tough race, it must be said. And he rejoins in P15 then on the medium compound tyres. JDM goes through, he's down into P16 now. Rogue Smithy, will he get him? Yes he does, with the power of the undercut. Do you know what? It's hard to talk, you know, because I've got a voice in my ear because Connie's continuously speaking.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, so Glock picks now. He's in P17 now, behind the guy who's been fighting at the start of the race, Rogue Smithy. What about the top three? Because they'll be soon be coming in for the pit stops very soon. Traugen, he's in there, solid P4. He's going to be running his own race to fight off Bear Remy and Laser. So right now, so we've got two fights going on. One for the podium positions, one for P4. So we've got two trains going on here. As you can see, MDJ on the back of Harry Kane. He's trying to get that position done as Bear Remy overtakes around the outside of Draugen. But Draugen, we were ready to strike back around this corner. Look at that. So Hazara faded to go to the pits there, but trying to spoot them, but didn't work. But here goes MDJ down the inside, gets the move done. Bear Remy and Draugen into the pit. Oh, what happened there? Those two was literally stopped behind each other there, going into the pits. Don't know what happened there. But here comes Bear Remy onto the first compounds, into mediums. Draugen will be doing the same. Adams knows moves up into P5 now. As here comes Draugen. Into the pits he comes and sticks ahead of Bear Remy.
We're coming towards the main stage of the Grand Prix where the pit stops will start happening. Atlas has gone, that smoke actually, mediums to soft, that's very interesting there for a strategy like smoke. You said Daniel made it work in the Division 2 race, but we'll see if he can make it work here in Division 1, or Div 1, sorry. But when will the top 3 pit then? Their main competitors of Dragon and Berimi have pitted. How long will these guys stay out? Because we know the undercut can be powerful around here with the high speed corners, the heavy traction zone as well, the heavy braking zones. Jagermal and Langfeld down at turn 13. Nice move there from Jagermal. Obviously he's on fresher tyres, so it's easier for him to overtake Langfeld. And keep an eye on Jagermal too, he should have good pace as well on those hardcore power tyres on this stage of the Grand Prix. Here comes Hurricane blasting past the Williams of MDJ Hazara. Is he buying his time in P3? Is he decided not to fight these two and just stay there in P3 and just watch these two pass each other all the time? He's going for the undercut. Might do, you know. Will he go for... No, he doesn't.
He's faded. He's faded it. I'll say that for a fact. He faded. And look at these two. And it's going to be close between the two. Against MDJ down the inside. No, not going to get the work done. But the guys who have pitted, that's Dragon and Berimi. Dragon and Berimi, they're going to have to take qualifying laps. Qualifying laps for them. If they want to make this strategy work, they have got to go an absolute hammer and tongs for this race. No doubt about it.
They might have to work together too, Berimi and Dragon. Just swap DRS. Don't fight each other in the braking zones by going side by side. And just go past each other straight and drag each other wrong. That's what they've got to do there in the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull. Their next target is Langfeld in P5. It should be easy to dispose being on those medium compound tyres. Those two. Laser down there in P8 as well on a brand new set of the medium compound tyres. By the way, I haven't said what I want to say about Laser. So he had 3 podiums in a row in the first 3 races. And after that, he's always finished inside the top 5 or top 6. Consistently P5 or P6. That's where he finishes all the time now, unfortunately for Laser. Not a good start he wants to, but I thought it was an interesting start after being on the podium 3 times in a row. But after Monza, that's when things went downhill, and Glock has overtaken Atlas. He puts himself up into P9 ahead of the AlphaTauri. And here comes the Williams of Rogue Smithy, and actually Glock got ahead of Rogue Smithy somewhere on the lap as Berimi has overtaken Langfeld and actually Dragon too, so he lets those two go very nicely there without holding each other up. I don't think he wants to have a fight with those guys.
Top 3 are pitting, and as you can probably tell, Berimi and Dragon are going down the backstretch now. This is going to be really close now, going for the top spots here.
This is going to be very interesting then. Hazara on the mediums, Hurricane on the softs, MDJ last in the equation, further down the pit lane of course, on the medium compound tyres. So actually, Hurricane is the only one on the soft compound tyres, but what about this? They're both ghosting each other. I thought Hazara would get ahead of MDJ in the pit lane, but where is our rivals? There's Dragon and Berimi. Has he undercut them?
Going to be close!
Oh, he's almost in the wall! But here comes Dragon now, side by side with MDJ. He doesn't want to lose a position there. He wants to keep in contact with Hurricane. But this has worked absolutely amazingly for Hurricane. They came in the pit lane at the same time. But these two have got undercutted by Dragon and Berimi. This could be a game changer now in this race. Hurricane on those soft compound tyres could be the best place to pull away. He's no longer in the DRS trade. He no longer has DRS on anybody. And here comes Hazara down the inside of turn 13. Lays the brakes on MDJ. Puts himself up into P5 ahead of the Williams. So now Hurricane has got to pull away as much as he can before the soft start fading away towards the last stage of the Grand Prix. How long will it take these two to get past Dragon and Berimi now, who stayed out later or pitted earlier and now jumped these two? Hazara and MDJ, but stayed out later. Has it cost them now?
I'll tell you now, this is going to turn into a very, very fine where it's finished, because at the end of this Grand Prix, Harry Kane is on the soft compound tyre. He should be fine, but how long will they last for? That's the question. This could be a possible Red Bull 1-2, as we saw in the real Grand Prix. I don't know about that, I haven't seen the real result, but I'm going to guess so. But here comes Hazara, goes down the inside of the Haas driver, the AlphaTauri driver of Dragon, defends well, but here we go, this is for battle for second, MDJ in there as well, he's battling Jagermal in the Haas, can he get the
contact! Oh my goodness, Hazara was so low at the brakes, they made contact with Berimi. Actually, Dragon gets put on the curb at turn 3, not able to pick up the traction as quickly as he would have wanted either. MDJ's back in this fight too, and poor Jagermal got swamped in turn 27, overtaken by 3 people on the medium compound tyres course. His next rival now is Laser down in P7 Glock. Will he catch Jagermal? I'm not quite sure, but Jagermal, either way, has run a very good race, it must be said. Laser has picked up a 3-second time penalty as well, only 2 people. It's both McLarens have picked up a 3-second time penalty. Do you know what? I'm actually impressed with these guys. No safety car, no virtual, and only 1 retirement. Very good indeed from these guys.
Oh, I totally agree. We had 2 virtual safety cars in last night. I think it was either 1 or 2 virtual safety cars last night. But these Division 1 drivers are showing the absolute quality of racing, hard but fair, in this Grand Prix. I'm absolutely loving this so far.
I am too. It's been a fantastic race so far. Berimi, both Red Bulls are 1-2. Like you said, could be a real life of repeat. But Berimi, though, is on the older medium compound tyres, being hounded, harassed, swamped by these guys behind. Dragon is up into P2. Here comes Hazara now. Will he overtake him? Yes, he goes up the inside. Always makes contact with the AlphaTauri there, but gets a decent exit on those fresher medium compound tyres. It could be a drag race now between those two, and Dragon might be in a bad place here with the guys behind having DRS. He might get swamped. Berimi backs out. What about MDJ? MDJ now finds himself 2 cars in front of him, 2 obstacles in the way to get towards Hazara. He might be in a difficult place now. Hazara, contact's made between those two, but thankfully not in the wall together. MDJ will be absolutely furious because his rival Hazara is putting away the distance. Has already built up a 1-second gap, and it looks like MDJ might have to settle for 3rd place now, being stuck behind these 2.
I'll tell you now, but you could have figured better, couldn't you? MDJ fighting for the lead before the pit stops. After the pit stops, he's now fighting to be on the last step of the podium. This could be another race victory running away here for MDJ if he does not get past Berimi as soon as he can.
And he might be behind in the championship lead towards Hurricane, but there's still 7 laps to go in this race. Anything could happen. I've seen dramatic stuff happen towards the latter stages in Saudi Arabia. I've seen safety cars come out. I've seen major changes in results. I've seen people who've been in 7th, 8th or 9th in the whole race and finished in 2nd or 3rd. So you never know what could change in this race yet. However, Berimi and Drago, I can tell you, are causing a massive headache towards MDJ. MDJ will be absolutely furious. You can see him derate on the straight there. Here comes Berimi now, fighting for a net P3 in this race. The 3rd step of the podium. Which one will we go to? Berimi, Dragon or MDJ? All 3 of them deserve it, but only room for 1.
Fair, here we go. Then this is where it's all going to happen now. Dragon gets down the inside. That's all kind of fair. MDJ is going to stay behind him for now and almost make contact. There is contact, a little bump and barge between all 3 of the cars, but all made it through cleanly. Rogue Smithy, though, great comeback drive by the way. Good from after having that little accident up into P9, 5 seconds behind Glock. I think that's a good fair comeback race there for Rogue Smithy there. And Rebel in P12, he should be pretty pleased with his comeback drive as well.
Yeah, indeed. One to forget for Glock, unfortunately, down in P8. You started closing a bit on Jagermal. Jagermal is in the DRS of Laser. Laser actually overtook him. But can Jagermal stay in the DRS there of Laser like we saw? I think Ramovaj stay in the DRS of MDJ at the Bahrain Grand Prix. But the gap is 4 seconds. Keep an eye on that. That's the reference point. And later on in this race, we'll see how much it will go down, whether it will go down or not. Hurricane is quite sufficient at saving tyres. He's very good at it. We saw it back in Singapore Grand Prix, going for that 1 stop on the long tyres. It was a 1 stop because the safety car came out at lap 7 and he took them towards the end, and others had to do a 2 stop because they might be on the punchy territory as well. So he's very good at saving tyres, is Hurricane. We saw Berimi do it, or Dragon back at the back of Grand Prix when he was being hunted down for P3. These 2 are close together as well. Dragon is running a very good race again. It's going to be another top 4 finish or top 5 finish, and after Baku he's been looking on very good form. But here comes the guys behind him. Here comes Hurricane, here comes Berimi, here comes MDJ, wheel to wheel, and Dragon's lost 2 places up the inside. That's 2 places gained in 1 corner. Great move indeed from MDJ, puts himself up into P3, Berimi's P4 and Dragon is in P5.
Oh, MDJ swears to the left. I don't know what that was all about, but I'll tell you now, he is a man on a mission. He wants to get out of the way. And to answer the question, Dan, yes, Smoke did pit again. He unfortunately lagged out of the session, and his AI did got into the pits to go on to another set of softs. So that's the reason why he's down there in P18. But it was a little bit unlucky for him there. But MDJ is now a man on an absolute mission to get away from Berimi and Draugen. He is going to push the living daylights out of Williams now.
He tapped the wall. He had a massive slide coming out of turn 17. Smacked into the wall, but I don't think he's picked up any damage unless it's very light, of course. He might have smacked it with his tyre, and he won't get away with that more than one or twice there. It's not likely to get out of here unscathed if you touch the walls around here in Jeddah. A very unforgiving circuit indeed, and it'll punish you very hard if you make any mistakes. But the gap between P1 and P2 is starting to close down very slowly but surely. We know Hurricane's good at tyre management. The gap is 3.5 as they make their way towards the line. Can Hazara catch Hurricane? But that pit stop, all three of them going to the pit stop. What was funny was the three of them were very close going to the pit lane. Then they split up after the pit lane. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of the second stint. You'll get split up, and it's all about raw pace from here on in. But Jagemal has overtaken Laser. He's back up into P6, and that's what I was talking about. Him staying in the DRS has allowed him to overtake Laser, and could be scoring a decent result here tonight in SFR. Doing a great job, Jagemal.
Unbelievable there for drivers there for Jagemal, but Zara, like you said, is closing the gap down 3.3 to Hurricane. He's trying to he has got a little bit of time on the side. He has got, what, 4 laps left to get to Hurricane, but he needs to push a little bit more harder to get close to him.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
He might get another track limit warning. I think he's done that twice now, if I'm not mistaken, Hazara. So he might be in a second warning of the race. Is Hazara pushing really hard to get towards Hurricane, and you can see they're really going for it. He's on a pad. It's quite difficult around here, Jeddah, on a pad in terms of race pace. Quality not so much, but in terms of the race, the wheel is slightly better there as you can control the car better, it must be said, as pad. It limits it. I don't know how to exactly describe it, but Laser is still hanging the back of Jagemal then, so despite being 10 lap old hard, Jagemal is still showing some great pace there in the Haas. And Adams in P10 showing a quiet race again. I think he finished inside the top 10 during the Singapore Grand Prix, so he's doing a great job again, is Adams in P10 there, reserve driver. Martin is 4.4 behind. I think Adams might be catching Rogue Smithy, I'm not quite sure, as Laser and Jagemal are swapping places again. The gap between first and second is 3.3 as MDJ, unfortunately for him, is not able to dispose Berimi, but Jargrid is outside the 1 second range of DRS said, so it might be Berimi versus MDJ for the podium battle.
How much a pit stop can change a race? How much can a pit stop change? Well, you can see in the front device, it's changed very, very much. It went from a 6 car to 2 DRS trades to now to this. It's unbelievable how much a pit stop can change. It's unbelievable how a race can change after a pit stop phase. It's all down to whoever wants it more, whoever wants it most, who wants to be on the podium and get the championship advantage going into the Mexican Grand Prix in about a week's time. This is going to turn into a very, very close finish for P3 and between Berimi and MDJ. But if the Hurricane is good as under control in the Red Bull, I think he'll be very comfortably staying in front of Zara for P1.
Oh my goodness me, thank goodness for that. The Zoom call's finally finished. I can take my earphone out and finally have someone talking to 45 minutes on call. Stop talking. I can hear your lovely voice now, Oliver.
What a relief.
Finally, all that noise in the background
there.
There
we
gone.
Go. Now these two are fighting. Here we go. Berimi and MDJ are fighting now.
I was about to mention Berimi on the previous lap. He was about a second away from MDJ in the middle sector. I was thinking to myself, why is he not using more ERS? You can see the steering wheel has got more ERS in comparison to MDJ, who's flashing on the straight. So I was thinking, he's got the DRS, he should try and use a bit more ERS to stay in contention, because he's starting to feel the effects of those 2 lap order tyres. Is Berimi. They've dropped Dragon, but if these two continue to squabble into braking zones going side by side, it might bring Dragon back into play. So a bit detached now from these two, running a bit of a lonely race down in P5. Once you're out of the DRS, it's game over. But I think Hurricane has got this in the bag, and he's going for his 3rd win of the season, and also going for the championship lead as well, which will definitely put a bonus onto his race performance here tonight. It's the battle for P3, I think. It's very important between MDJ and Berimi. Who will get it? MDJ deserves it after showing great pace. Once he got rid of Glock and Rogue Smithy, he started to catch the top two, being outside the DRS train. And during the pit stops, that's when it started falling away from him. And now he's got Berimi all over the back of him. And here he is, close to speed, rapid there. But the Red Bull stays behind. He knows he needs to have DRS to try and overtake MDJ. Because if he's first in the DRS, it might be a bit difficult. And you can see Berimi, you can see Dragon deracing on the straight as we head on to lap 24. The penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. No battle for the lead, but the battle for the podium is going on. And here comes Berimi up the inside of MDJ's turn 1. I think MDJ gracefully gave it up. He knows he's going to have to DRS in the back of Berimi because I think he's derated. So he knows he has the chance now in these 2 laps to sit behind and try and save some battery and might overtake him later towards turn 27 or something like that, or drag him towards the line. However, Adams has got past Rogue Smithy, so his tyres start to fade away, being on 17 lap all medium. So Adams put himself up into P9, and Mackett is ahead of Langfall. And also Martin, again, running in P11. That seems to be his favourite spot now, is P11 for Martin.
We're going to change from to SFR Martin to SFR P11 at this rate, at this gut rate or not, for Martin. But like I said before, MDJ can sit behind Berimi now. He doesn't need to attack him until the very last lap. He doesn't need to fight him at this rate. He can just lift and coast, save the ERS, and attack him on the final lap. If I was MDJ, take your time, save it, and you can give him the last lap. But Harry Kane is very much under control for the stops. He'll be very happy to get the P1, but Razara not going to continue his streak anymore. He'll be finishing in P2. But who is going to finish in P3 between these two?
It's the last lap of the Grand Prix, 6.1 kilometres more to go, and MDJ's got the rear wing open. Will he go for its turn 1, or will he wait? It looks like he's waiting. He's waiting, he knows he has to wait, but this brings Drago back into play. More battles going on between Smoke and Ramavage on the soft compound tyres, but it's brought Dragon into play, like I said. And will he have the EOS to try and overtake those two? I'm not quite sure. But it all lies now in the hands of Berimi. You can see on the steering wheel, he saved up a bit of EOS, has Berimi, despite being in front of MDJ for the past 2 laps. So he's not really used it. He knows tactically wise not to use the EOS until this last lap of the Grand Prix. He's not been overtaken into turn 1, so we've got 2 DRS zones to survive. Has Berimi, maybe 3 as well, going on to the back straight there on the turn 27, the exit of it. But Harry Kane, after the pit stops, has dominated this second half of the Grand Prix. It's all lies on the podium as Rogue Smithy picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. If Martin's 1.4 seconds away from Rogue Smithy's him for P9. But here we go into turn 22. Turn 23. Will MDJ go for it in turn 27, or will he wait for the line? Here it comes right now with the DRS wide open. Overtakes Berimi, but Berimi will have the DRS going on to straight. Glock picks up a penalty as we head towards the final corner. Can Berimi out-drag MDJ? Harry Kane wins the Jeddah Grand Prix. Hazara P2, but what about battle for P3? Is Berimi close enough? No, it's not. MDJ finishes in P3 ahead of Berimi. Dragon in P5 ahead of Laser. And Yagamal, will he get him? Is he close enough? He gets a penalty anyway. But Yagamal, great drive for him in P6 there. Glock overtakes him too for P7. It's been a dismal race again for Laser. And here comes Rogue Smithy versus Adams then. Adams is right behind Rogue Smithy, but we know he's got a penalty anyway. But will he out-drag him towards the line? Let's have a look. I'm not quite sure if he did or not. And here comes the guys behind Martin, Mackett, Langfeld as well. Sonic Cork in P14, seen him in 15th place. Atlas in 16th. Ramavage unfortunately in 17th there, not able to recover after contact with Rogue Smithy. JDM in 18th place, and Smoke will finish in 19th place there. But what a race this Saudi Arabia Grand Prix has put on. No safety cars, surprisingly, or no virtual safety cars. That intrigues me a lot, because usually there's a lot of incidents around here with the high-speed corners, with the walls being very close, the DRS trains, the battles is around here as well. Usually a chaotic event here in Jeddah in league racing terms, but actually they came out cleanly, thankfully. 19 drivers survived.
Wow, what a race! And I think, like you said, I think Harry Kane has taken the race lead not the race lead, the championship lead away for MDJ for going into Mexico. Well done to Harry Kane, and well done to Red Bull for a very, very strong finish. So, really, it's going to be, well,
Could be very interesting towards the end
yeah, I'm
now.
going to say, I lost my words after that race. But yeah, well, it's going to be a very interesting one going into Mexico. There's your top three. There's your final race result right here.
And also in Jeddah, we had two events going on the weekend. We had the boxing and we had the race, obviously. And Harry Kane shadow boxing for his podium stands. Very convenient for that shadow boxing because AJ versus Francis Ngannou, and we all know what happened there. 2 rounds in, AJ absolutely knocked out Francis Ngannou, and he went down 3 times. And that was very good there for Harry Kane to do the shadow boxing, whether it is on purpose or not, or whether that's his regular podium stance. I'm not quite sure, but. Looks like someone's defeated there, Hazara for the first time, and Harry Kane's confidence will be sky high now after that Grand Prix win. We'll get the drivers in the podium interviews, then hopefully MDJ is happy this time. Well, I don't think he'll be happy, but nothing major happened in this Grand Prix, other than the Rogue Smithy and Ramavaj incident with Glock 2.
Yeah, I feel bad for Rogue Smith. He had a very strong qualifying. He actually looked very strong in the race. Could potentially go for the race victory. I'm really excited to see how Rogue Smith responds going into Mexico because much more wider circuit, a lot more wider places for overtaking, a lot more overtaking chances to be fair. So, you never know. Rogue Smithy could be on the charge next week.
Yeah, Mexico is not really one of my favourite tracks to race on because the low grip surface, the overheated tyres, and it's just a terrible track for me in general. I remember racing there, I think it was a few weeks ago, and I literally had no grip whatsoever, even on fresher tyres against people on older tyres. I still couldn't get close, so not really my favourite track there, Mexico. But usually quite good in league racing. You got the long straights as well, heading down to turn 1 and turn 4. But before we talk about Mexico, we're still here in Jeddah, and the drivers are joining the podium interviews. So we go from P3 up to P1 as we always do. So MDJ, quite an eventful race you had throughout the whole event because you were holding off drivers for P3. You were first on off Glock and your own teammate Rogue Smithy. Talk about the first stint between you and Glock and Rogue Smithy there.
I mean, I already had the feeling that I was quicker than Glock. He was struggling in the corners, so I knew that I had to make a move. But he made a mistake in somewhere on the straights. I mean, going into the straights, which made Smitty and the cars behind very close, which caused a bit of a chaos into turn 1 and 2. And that kind of helped me get away from Glock and be on my free pace and close up to the two cars ahead, which was not going as quick as I was expecting. But yeah, it was all good. And then it was a shame after the pit stop that the team wasn't letting me go, so I was stuck in the pit box for another second. And when I came out, I got almost pushed into a wall by Bear Remy, which meant I had to back off and lose two places and be stuck behind them for forever. I mean, they were not they did not have the same pace as me, Harry Kane, and Nazara, but it was just so hard getting around them while they were using DRS to each other. So yeah.
You were predicted to be in that top 3 fight between you, Hazara, and Harry Kane, but unfortunately that pit stop, like you said, did cost you. I think you were held longer than you should have been. Then you lost probably another few tenths after being ghosted into Hazara, both slowing down and slamming the brakes. So that split you up really and decided the race as Harry Kane on those soft compound tyres was able to pull away and you were stuck fighting with Berimi and Dragon at the same time. So yeah, it's really unfortunate what happened to you in the second pit stop. I was looking forward to seeing you three fight it out, but you got split up really, and yeah, it's frustrated you for that. I know what it feels like during the pit stops, but how are you feeling for Mexico, mate?
I hope for Mexico everything goes pretty much the same as here, except for the pit stop. Uh, just to have good pace, trying to stay with Hazara if he's racing and Harry Kane. And then trying for my first win in the season, and get the lead back again because I think Harry Kane has it now. So
I think he does mathematically. So you're still looking for your first win of the season, which is very interesting because you had a lot of wins last season too, and you topped the championship. So people must think you've won a race, but you haven't yet. So yeah, but your consistency has really helped you because I know Harry Kane and Glock and Laser have always had a few problems in the last few races. As a result, being further down in the field, whereas you constantly somewhere in the top three or top five. But yeah, you have to work even harder now for you to be back in this to get the championship lead off Harry Kane. And Oliver, you got any questions for MDJ?
Yeah, in the Williams cab, is there any chance of you two fighting for the constructors championship, or you and Smithy gonna fight out individually? Because you two are very fast together. We can see that. But is there any team games that you two gonna be planning out for the rest of the season? Because you two have fought each other very hard, very fair. But is there going to come to a point now there's going to be, um, more of a chance that you two can work together for the Constructors' Championship?
I mean, I would love him to be near us at the end, but every single time he has a bit of a problem with other drivers, which doesn't help. And for at the moment, if he wants to help me, then he's fine to do so, but I'm not telling him to do so. So he can do whatever he wants to do, and if he wants to help, then he is able to. He's allowed to do that.
Fair enough.
Jamie.
Right. Yeah, it's
Oops, I accidentally
Azara
muted
next.
myself there. I accidentally muted myself. I was talking. I was talking when I was.
It's one of those nights you with the Zoom call and everything else.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I was in a Zoom call while I was commentating, so it was very hard to keep up with the action and talk while I had but people talking in my ear, and Oliver too. But yeah, I was about to mention you and Rogue Smithy were fighting very hard in the first stint and bumping each other as well with Glock, so that could have been very major towards you. But I think, like you said, it's more of a individual fight now rather than a team fight, as Rogue Smithy's fighting for his best results of the season. But I think you're close to Mercedes anyway with the results. You're getting closer and closer because you're only 1 point away from Mercedes, so P2 could be on. But in terms of Red Bull, it might be a bit too far away. But we move on to Hazara then. So, Hazara, quite unusual to be interviewing you without not knowing what questions to ask you, but we've got plenty of questions now to ask for you. How was it been out there? Because what point in the race did it all go wrong for you? Because you're quite far behind in the pit stops, whereas you're very close entering in the pit lane, and you lost about 4 or 5 seconds coming out the pit lane.
Yeah, I think the only thing that went wrong was the pit stop, to be honest, and yeah, I lost a lot of time there for some reason, and then yeah, we came out like in big traffic, so I think Harry Kane gained quite a few seconds there, and then when I managed to clear them, I think it was like 4 seconds, 4 or 5. And yeah, that's just way too much to catch on a track where he's pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, great pace. You guys, of course, the trading DRS as well. What was your initial reaction being stuck behind Berimi and Dragon as well? Did you think that they were going to cost you the race win? Did you think they'd have a chance to get the race win back after being overtaken by those two?
I I mean, I wouldn't give up because he was on softs, and I knew that maybe my tires would be quicker towards the end. But yeah. Also, I was struggling a bit with fuel. Not a lot, but it was like 0.06 maybe in minus. So I wanted to catch him, but yeah, I just couldn't. He was too quick, and yeah. I mean, I'm happy with my driving. It was okay, but yeah, just not quick enough, and the pit stop really decided the race today. And yeah,
Let's say if you didn't lose all that time in the pit lane and you were right behind Harry Kane without losing any time, do you think you would have got him towards the end of the race?
I mean, I think it would have been a three-way fight with me, MDJ, and Hurricane. Would have been interesting, but yeah, these things happen. I mean, he got released. MDJ got released into me, and we were like inside each other, and then the game let him go. So basically, braked me, and he came out in the behind those guys, and I was behind. I managed to pass them, which was important to get P2, but yeah, Hurricane was just way too far ahead at that point.
Were you expecting big things heading into this race, considering you won in Jeddah at WR?
Yeah, I won. I won in WR, but I was very lucky. I didn't have great pace there, but I just stayed out and got a lucky safety car. So I didn't expect my pace to be any better now because I hadn't really practiced. I did some laps on time trial yesterday and like 4 or 5 laps before the race now, but I knew that with a heavy car it's completely different, and yeah, would be hard. And yeah, it was actually as expected. I expected there to be a train, and the only reason there wasn't a bigger train was because there was something with someone behind. I think Glock and Smithy, I think, crashed earlier, and that kind of broke up the train. But I think, yeah, it's hard to really gap anyone on this track if there's a normal race.
Yeah, I agree as well, especially with those three DRS zones. But your run of wins may have come to an end, but your run of podiums haven't come to an end. Are you now? Well, I'm DJ. I think you cleared it up for Mexico, but are you racing for Mexico? Are you going to be racing as a full-time driver? Do you think, or are you still reserve?
I haven't thought about it really, but it doesn't seem like there will be a full-time seat. Just my intuition is saying that. I have no clue actually, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. If I get to drive, I will drive, and if not, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think Mexico is one of those tracks I can drive well without practicing. So hopefully I'll get a seat, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's always nice to have you in, mate. Even if you are dominating the race, it's always nice to have your company. And Oliver, you got any questions for Hazara?
Yeah, Hamilton qualifying, you had a weird had a weird glitch on your end, Zara. Can you explain what happened there? Did you have a weird game glitch?
In qualifying?
Yeah, you had two 10-second grid penalties
Oh yeah, yeah.
for illegal blocking.
Yeah, there was Williams behind me kind of close, and when someone drives really close and there's the yellow flag,
That
you
will be
tend to get.
MDJ right behind you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter because obviously we restarted, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, just got a grid penalty, so no big deal. And then I got one after the AI had taken over. So
Yeah, I saw that. You got sandwiched between two Williams.
yeah.
Anyways,
Is there any intention of you if there's a seat available, would you take it? Would you like to go into a full-time drive?
Yeah, I would take it. Yeah, also depends what car I would get, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's I would take it because I can drive like most Tuesdays, almost all of them. But yeah, I mean, usually as a reserve you get to drive anyway if you're quick on the attendance thing. So yeah, it's not a big deal. I can I wouldn't mind it continuing to be like this as well.
fair enough, Hazara. And we move on towards um, Hurricane. Sorry about the hurricane. It's been a long evening. Had a Zoom call. Had to listen to a lot of people talk in my ear at once with loud volume, and the race and Oliver too. But Hurricane, mate, what a race you had! I think you won the race out of the pit lane because you went to the soft compound tyres. You didn't get undercut by anybody, and you managed to pull away whilst Hazara and MDJ was stuck behind. So it went your way towards the end, mate, and you must be very happy about that because you take the championship lead too.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I think I was very lucky because I was just ahead of Igor Mal out of the pits, and could just pull away. I had no one in front of me and just kept my head down and yeah, eventually saw the checkered flag.
Yeah, indeed, mate. Were you nervous about the guys in the DRS train there? Do you think that were you nervous about those guys undercutting as well? Were you thinking about an undercut because you're all pits at the same time, so were you all following each other towards the end of the Grand Prix or something?
Yeah, the thing was that we three had like a 3.5 second gap to the fourth place, so I was not really worried that anyone would undercut us. Yeah, the only thing I was worried about was those two I was fighting with. They were very quick, and yeah, it would be fun to fight with them all the way. But I take the win.
Yeah, and you head into the Mexican Grand Prix by leading the championship. I want to ask you this question, Harry Kay, because you had good pace back in the the last season. But is your mind now settling the championship with all these races next to go, or because you just focus on one race at a time?
Yeah, it's hard because I am always thinking of the championship, but yeah, you have to think about one race at a time to not get distracted.
Yeah, indeed. And also, when you saw Hazara slip into P2 after overtaking Berimi and Drauga, did you think that Hazara will catch you up?
Yeah, I was sure that he would catch up, but I didn't expect that I would have that good pace that long, and I didn't know that Asara needed to save some fuel. I had plenty, so I could just push and yeah.
Fair enough, mate. And congrats on the win. Oliver, you got anything to say for Harry?
Yeah, if you do get the championship lead, Harry Kane, which mathematically you think you will, what's this momentum going to bring to you going into Mexico?
Yeah, after the last two wins, I have had no podiums after. I hope I will change that and maybe get a second win or at least a podium in Mexico.
Well, thank you
Short
very
but
much, Harry.
sweet.
Short but sweet, Harry Kane, a man of a few words, but does his talk on the track. And yeah, we ride it off here then. So thank you, you top three, for joining me on the podium interviews. We had no podium interviews last week due to massive controversy. There is still controversy between two Williams and a Mercedes, but we talk about it in the incident reports. I'm pretty sure they all have their own opinions on what happened. Controversies, conspiracies, but yeah, we'll ride it off there. Oliver, once again, mate, thank you so much for commentating. It's been an absolute thriller. I was listening to you and other people in my ear.
I feel sorry if you had to multitask for all that entire time.
Yeah, and also, Oliver, I want to say as well, if I didn't answer some of your questions, you know why. I wasn't ignoring you, don't worry.
No, of course, it was understandable. You were in a bit of an awkward situation on your end, so it's all understandable.
I had to do one task well during the Zoom call, but luckily we were allowed to do it in our spare time and whenever we want to do it. So luckily I didn't have to do it at the time because when they said, right, I want you all to do this, and I was like, oh sugar, I've got to do this. I've commentated, but yeah, luckily I just had to listen in without doing anything. So it all went well in the end.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're right off then, and that's the end of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. We're finally done in Saudi Arabia after the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Jeddah, the boxing in Jeddah too, or in Riyadh, sorry, and here in SFR. And we move on towards the Mexican Grand Prix next Tuesday at 7:30. We'll see you all there, and goodbye for now.